Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs. There we go.
大階段。やっぱりここに出たか。地図にあった通りだな。
It was just what he'd expect to see after reading the map. His I see after reading the map himself made Ace... that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
一宮はこの下か?
He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down.
あ、いたな。
見て、他の4人もいるよ。
And not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well.
マジか。
行こ
う。Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time.
Junpei-kun! Yatsura-chan!
June's face was excited. Something had happened. That much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her.
どうしたんだ?
Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
あったんです。
何が?
見つかったんですよ。
だから何が?
最後の扉が、9の扉が見つかったんです。
なんだって?
とにかく行こう。ついてきてくれ。事情は道すがら説明してやる。
ああ。
Seven turned and jogged down the stairs.
ま、そういうこった。
お先。
では、私たちも行こうか。
The rest followed.
純平くん、いよいよですね。
The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt.
ああ、そうだな。
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it. At least not just yet. Still, if everyone said it was the door 9, then it probably was.
ついに来たか。
He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one.
ナンバリングドアの先へ進めるのは3人から5人まで。今行動を共にしているのは7人だから、少なくとも2人はあぶれることになる。2人か。何かいい方法があればいいんだが。
Junpei looked over at the clock.
4時30分。タイムリミットまであと90分か。
おい、純平、紫、何やってんだ、早く来い。
Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
行きましょう、純平くん。
June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could.
ああ。
Junpei followed. As a group, they piled into the elevator and rode impatiently down to E deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the two elevators. Seven grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
さっき事情を説明してやるって言ったが、別に大したことじゃねえんだ。お前ら3人と別れた後、俺たち4人は左側のエレベーターに乗り込み、この鉄格子の向こう側へと降り立った。そしてそこから直線通路へ選手の方に向かってまっすぐ進むと、突き当たりには純平と紫が発見したっていう6の扉があった。俺たち4人はその扉を開いて先へと進んだ。そこには例によって例のごとくパズルの散りばめられた空間が2つあった。それらの謎を解いて別の扉から脱出すると、そこにはさっきとは逆方向、 船尾の方に向かってまっすぐ伸びた直線通路が横たわっていた。
でその途中にこのエレベーター乗り場があったと。
そうだ。
つまりぐるっと一周回って向こう側からこっち側へたどり着いたってわけだな。
ああ。
With that settled, Junpei looked around.
ところで肝心の9の扉が見当たらないが。
案内してやる。ついてこい。
Seven began walking down the hallway that led toward the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him.
そういえば
They had been walking for a while, June in silent step with Junpei when she spoke.
今こうしていられるのってサンタさんのおかげなんですよ。
こうしていられる。
7人が全員揃って9の扉を目指しているこの状況のことです。わからないですか？サンタさん、セブンさん、ヤシロさん。この3人の数字根を計算してみてください。
3 plus 7 plus 8 equals 18, 1 plus 8 equals 9.
9だ。
そうです。3人は私たちを置いて先に進むことだってできたんですよ。やろうと思えば。
でもそれをしなかった。
サンタさんが反対してくれたから。紫や他の3人を置き去りになんてできない。それで純平君たち3人を連れてこようって話になったんです。
でさっきの右側のエレベーターに乗って大階段エリアに戻ってきたと。
そうです。
それにしても意外だな。あのサンタが反対したとは。
Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that.
でも誤解しないでくださいね。
Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's concern.
だからといってセブンさんやヤシロさんが私たちを置いてけぼりにしようとしたってわけじゃないですから。軽くそういう話が出た時に先頭を切って反対してくれたのがサンタさんだったっていうだけで。
Junpei was about to respond when Seven suddenly stopped.
着いたぞ。
In front of them stood a door.
ここか？
ああ。
Junpei couldn't see Seven's face, but he could see him nod.
他に進めそうなところは？
ない。ご覧の通りだよ。この長い直線通路の先には分厚い鉄の壁。左手には船の左舷と右舷を結ぶ横断路があるが、そこにもエレベーターホールと同じように鉄格子がはめられている。
なるほど。
It looked as though Seven was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
さあ、上がったらさっさと行くぞ。
He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed. It appeared that they'd been telling the truth. The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of red paint. The door it decorated sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it.
9の扉。
It was a large double door with a powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish.
ついにここまで。
Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. Its display read vacant.
間違いない。こいつが9のナンバリングドアだ。いよいよだ。これが最後の。
Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back, and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. There was a moment of complete silence.
順平、後ろを見ろ。
He turned around.
後ろ？
Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw.
なんて9の扉がもう一枚あるんだ。おい、どういうことだよこれ。
His words came slowly, and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door, set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistaking the number, and if any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door.
レッドがあるってことは当然開かないか。
He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real.
でもなんで9の扉が2枚もあるんだ。
It was Ace who spoke first.
どちらかが当たりどちらかが外れ、そういうことなんじゃないか。
Lotus was skeptical.
どうかしら。私は違うと思うけど。
どうしてだね。
これまで通り抜けてきた数々の部屋、謎はいくつも散りばめられてたけど、そこには必ずヒントが隠されてたわ。少なくとも勘で正解を当てるなんて仕掛けはどこにもなかった。それが最後の最後に来て運任せなんてことゼロがしてくると思う。
だったらこの部屋のどこかにヒントが。
いえ、それはないと思います。さっき一通り探してみたんです、この部屋に来た時に。だけどそれらしきものはどこにも。
ああ、そうか。ということは。
ああ、どっちの9も正解ってことだろう。そもそもゼロは9の扉は1枚しかないなんてことは一言も言ってないんだからな。
脱出するための出口は船内のどこかに隠されている。探したまえ9と書かれた扉がそれだ。
Junpei began to mutter to himself.
9の扉は2枚あったのか。だったら3人と4人に分かれれば。
Nope.
無理だよ。
Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand.
順平、手帳とペン持ってたよね。貸してもらえる？
ああ、ほら。
Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her. Stretch.
見て、これ。
Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. There we go. I stretched. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
わかった？上段は数字根が9になる組み合わせ。下段はそれ以外の人たち。考えられる組み合わせはこの8通りしかないの。3人と4人で分かれるとしたらね。だから
3人で9の扉に入れば4人が取り残される。4人でこの先に進めば 3人が置き去りに。そういうことだな。
Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem.
そんな。
The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank.
そういえば。
Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around him.
ここは一体どこなんだ？
The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the room.
まるで何かの式場みたいだ。でも一体何？
Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed at the stern of the boat. At the other end of the carpet,
祭壇なのか？
it was a recessed space set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. A coffin. A coffin.
棺。まさかな。
But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. Let's pretend that thing ain't there, turn around, and never speak of it again. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
わかったよ、降参だ、降参。待ってりゃ誰かが突っ込んでくれるんじゃねえかと思って黙ってたんだが、どうやらそんな度胸のあるやつはいねえみてえだな。
どういうことだよ。
Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one.
あ？もしかしてお前ら気づいてなかったのか？ったくしょうがねえな。さっきの四つ葉の説明にはな、ちょっとした抜けがあったんだよ。間違いってわけじゃねえんだが。ああ、めんどくせえ。とにかく俺を見ろ。
Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look.
3人と4人で別れるって条件付きなら、確かに四つ葉の言ったことは正しい。だがな、それ以外にも方法はあるんだよ。たった一つだけな。3人と3人と1人で別れる場合、
そんな、お前まさか。
勘違いすんなよ。俺は何も一宮のジジイの真似をしようってんじゃねえんだ。大病室での一宮の件、あれがなかったとしても俺は同じことを言ってただろ
う。同じこと？同じことってもしかして。
ああ、だからそういうことよ。俺が一人でここに残る。
何カッコつけてんのよ。あんたバカじゃないの？
Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was a little strange. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered.
私は絶対に反対だからね。あんたなんかに借りを作ってまで生き延びたくないし。
The rest of them began to speak all at once.
私も反対です。一宮さんの時と同じこと言わせないでください。私も同じ。その提案は飲めないよ。 もっと他にいい方法があると思うし。
私も同意しかねるな。英雄の役を奪われたのではたまらないからね。
Well, Ace, that's you just being selfish. Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven.
というわけだ、セブン。その意見は却下だ。四つ葉が言った通り、他の方法を考えよう。
Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough.
どいつもこいつも。
He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corner of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke.
な、待てよ。俺はまだ何も言ってないぜ。
Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable.
まさか賛成なのか、セブンの提案に。
Ah, pain. I'm leaning on my hand and it's not a good feeling. Santa shook his head.
いや、反対だね。セブン一人を置き去りにするわけにはいかねえ。
だったら別に。
一人を。
え？
一人を置き去りにするわけにはいかねえ。そう言ったんだ。
There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
お前、何を。
わからねえのか。一人じゃダメなんだよ。あと二人必要なんだ。セブンを加えて三人を置き去りにする。それが俺からの提案。いや、命令だ。
命令って。勝手に決めんじゃねえよ。誰がお前なんかの命令に従うかよ。
従うさ。あと3秒も経てば従わざるを得なくなる。
なんだと。
3、2、1。
Santa was so fast, Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet moved like lightning. He spun and... he had June.
な、言った通りになっただろ。
His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile. A shudder traveled down the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze. He could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple.
なんだよ。なんなんだよ、それはよ。
Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Junpei's question roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke, almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion.
あの部屋で見つけた銃だな。
あの部屋
6の扉の先にあった空間のことだ。こんなことになるなら奪っておくべきだったぜ。
今さらおっせんだよ、このデクノボーが。
A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face as he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twisted into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded, and he began to move. He walked backwards, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly, and then forced June to do the same.
さてと、それじゃ命令に従ってもらおうか。 一宮、ヤシロ、喜べ。選ばれたのはお前ら二人だ。さあ、認証を。
3 plus 6 plus 1 plus 8 equals 18. That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2 more.
おい、聞こえなかったのか？
Santa's eyes narrowed into slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed frozen like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
そうか、仕方ねえな。弾を無駄にしたくはなかったんだが。
No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched. And the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wood splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real, and it worked.
撃った？どうして？なんでサンタが？
Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
だってサンタは私たちの仲間だったはずで。
あ？
クローバーのリーフワード知ってたんでしょ？
Santa's cheek twitched almost imperceptibly.
何のことだ？さっぱりわからないな。
そんなはず。
うるせえ！ガタガタ言ってんじゃねえよ、このクソガキが！てめえのクソみたいな脳みそをクソみたいにぶちまけてやろうか？
Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small.
サンタ。
He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus.
ほら何やってんだよ、ジジイババア。さっさとこっちに来て認証しろや。それともあれか、猛録して耳が遠くなってんのか？あ？
Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild, and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate. June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she would leave the ship alive along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do.
それしかない。
He turned to Ace and Lotus.
頼む。言ってやってくれ。
え？
そんな。
順平君、何言ってるんですか？ここに取り残されたら順平君。順平君だけじゃなくて、四つ葉ちゃんもセブンさんだって。
分かってる。だが俺たちのことなら心配するな。なんとかしてみせる。なあセブン。
どうよ、任せとけ。サンタの野郎の言いなりになるのはヘドが出るぐらいムカつくけどな。
私のことも心配しなくて平気だから。まだやらなきゃいけないことが残ってるし。ダメです。ダメ。一宮さん、八代さん、来ないで。私のことなんか構わないで。お願い。
June was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. He gently placed a hand on each of their shoulders and pushed them toward the door. They almost stumbled, then righted themselves and took another step, then another. They turned around and Junpei nodded.
言ってくれ。
ああ。
Ace and Lotus turned around again and walked slowly toward the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled.
さあ、スキャナーパネルに手のひらを。おいおい、この後に及んで何をためらう必要がある？俺は本気だぜ。この女を殺したって別に構わねえんだ。レッドは生体認証を使ってるわけじゃねえからな。バングルさえありゃ十分なんだよ。さあ、分かったら認証を。これで最後だ。次はないと思え。
He shoved the revolver harder against June's head, and she winced.
分かったよ。
Ace sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Santa and slammed her hand on the scanner panel. The 4th asterisk blinked on.
上出来だ。それじゃあヤシロ、レバーを下ろしてくれ。扉が開いたらすぐに飛び込むんだ。妙な真似はするなよ。分かってるな。
Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble, a drum roll to welcome the chosen few.
よし行け!
Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well. 6, 7, 8...
じゃあな。
and 9. After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. The room fell silent, and I think that's about as good a stopping point as it's gonna get. If I actually remember how to fucking save. Oh my gosh. Plot twist. Ace wasn't the bad guy this time. It was Santa. We still have another whole puzzle to go through. Actually, a couple. I think 2 more puzzles to go through to finally beat this game. But we are on the path to the true end. And it's actually not much longer. I should be able to do it in the next session. The next session should be the last one for the true end. And then I'm going to go back and get all the bad ends. And then we'll be done with this game. And we can move on to the next one. Because I'm super excited to move on to the next one. I love Virtue's Last Reward. And we're going to be playing that one next after this. But that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Stay cool. Keep crazy. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Ta-ta!